Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We've got UTSA head coach Jeff Traylor here. We'll take questions. Please use the raise hand function and wait for me to call on you. And if you haven't yet, make sure your username has your first and last name. All right, Greg, go ahead and get us started.
Jeff, we are now here in game week. How are you feeling overall about the state of this group and your guys' readiness to take the field here in week one?
Well, I'm proud of how they worked and how they prepared, and so I'm excited to see what that looks like Saturday.
What are the biggest things that jump out about Texas A&M in the scouting that you've done so far?
I think Mike, his roots are cut from defense, and it looks like a team you would expect to be coached by Mike Elko. They're very good up front defensively. They did a really good job in the transfer portal. They lost some really good defensive linemen, but they went and got some more, and they developed some as well. So they're very physical and sound. They keep the middle of the field closed quite a bit, and they're really good on defense. Offensively, they do a really good job with their quarterback, who I think's a really good football player. Did a really good job in the portal again. Went and got two really good wide receivers to add. With Bussy, who we think the world of out there, and running back a staple full. They do a good job with their scheme. They know what they want to do, and they stick to their plan. And obviously, they got very good special teams as well. They're a really good football team, and playing in probably the coolest environment in the entire country. So it'll be a great opportunity for us to go and see where we are right now.
Their offensive line as well is regarded as one of the best in the country. Are there ways that you can game plan and scheme around that, or how difficult is it to attack a unit of that caliber?
Yeah, there are things you can do, obviously, but whenever you're borrowing from one thing, you're making yourself short somewhere else. So, yeah, there are things you can do, but when you're that well coached and you know what you want to do, and you're that talented as well, it's formidable at best to ask our guys to hold up. We'll have to do some things to try to overcompensate, obviously, which will make us weaker in other areas.
You mentioned that this will obviously be a big early test for your group. What are sort of the pros and cons of opening against a team of this caliber this early in the season?
The pros are obviously nobody expects us to do very much, so you've got that, and then the negatives are just probably size difference, physicality, speed, coming out of the game healthy. Those kind of things are things you worry about. But yeah, it's a really cool venue to play in. So I'm excited our kids get to do that on the road. Obviously, we think our league is very good. So when you play opponents that are this good, it gets you ready for a very tough league.
All right, Tyler, we'll go to you.
Hi, Jeff. Tyler Shaw with KBTX in College Station. I just want to ask about your tight end, Houston Thomas, kind of your expectations for him this year. And then, I don't know, has he kind of talked about his homecoming, coming back to his hometown and playing at Kyle Field?
Obviously, we all know that, where he's from, and we're excited about that for him. It's not like we've done anything special for that other than just to let him know he's going home. And really proud of Houston. He's a wide receiver coming out of high school. He's really developed into a good tight end. He's gotten a lot bigger and stronger and more physical. And we feel good about our entire tight end room. We feel good about Patrick Overmeyer and Dan Dishman as well. But Houston got voted into a single digit this year, got the 0. So really proud of him and how far he's come, and excited for him to go back home and play in front of the home crowd for him.
JJ.
Jeff, you mentioned that environment you guys are going to play in. It's something your guys are not unaccustomed to, playing at Texas and Tennessee. How do you guys prepare for that kind of big time environment?
Well, we've done our best to try to pump in noise. We've heard every A&M song, and they've got a lot of them. Every chant, we mic and jump in there with them. We know them all so well. But there's nothing like it. I mean, that experience is one of a kind. They take great pride in it. They do a really good job of it. I've done my best to try to prepare our guys for that. But we just got to get out there and get in the middle of it. And hopefully, as the game moves along, we'll be able to handle it better.
What do you hope to see from your guys on Saturday? Like what are you most excited to see out of the group?
I just want to see where we are. And, you got to play the games. College football is unlike high school. It's unlike the National Football League, where you get, scrimmages in high school. You get preseason games in the NFL. This will be our first time to go do it against somebody other than us since the bowl game. So that's just what I'm excited about, just to see us play somebody else.
Can you talk about Owen and kind of compare him to where he was McCown this time last year, and I guess what you hope to see out of him on Saturday?
I would think that was the biggest turnaround of our season last year, was just his maturity. It was his first year to start, and about the middle of the road, you could tell he really had the game had slowed down for him. We would like for him to pick up right where he left off. Obviously, we have A&M on the road. That's a little bit different than those last 7 games last year. But if we protect him, he'll do a good job. But we just got to make sure we can protect him.
Greg, we'll go to you next. Alex, you're on deck.
Jeff, you were just talking about the environment. How much does the experience that you guys have on offense help as you try to deal with that? Does that continuity make a difference in that sort of a circumstance?
Well, I would feel a lot better, this year than I did last year, because we're at least all those guys have played, whereas last year that was all new for us. So to your point, that'll help some. But A&M's a really good opponent again, Greg. So yes, the experience of playing on the road will definitely help us. Defensively, we don't have that. We lost all 11 of those guys, so that'll be new for all those guys. But offensively, we have all played together quite a bit, so that should help.
I was going to ask next about that process on defense. We talked about it since the end of last season. Now that we're into game week, how are you feeling about the way that group has kind of gelled and ready to go for the start of the year?
I just don't know yet. They're good kids. They show up. They work their tails off every day. They're good people, and they've been a blast to coach. I've enjoyed coaching them, and I'm excited for them. We'll see what that looks like Saturday, but so far they've been just wonderful to be around.
Alex.
Hey, Jeff, appreciate the time. You're talking pretty highly about Kyle Field. I'm just curious what your experiences having gone to a game there have been over the years, and how many you've been to, maybe.
Oh, that's fun. I'm from East Texas. I'm from Gilmer. So when I was at Jacksonville, Randy McCown, which is Owen's uncle, led y'all to the Big 12 championship, and Richard Whitaker, that was my tailback, and some. Jamie Hightower and Quentin Holman. We sent a lot of players to that place. So obviously I went and watched those guys play a lot. My brother was a GA there. He worked for RC, so I'd go up there and watch those guys a lot. All 3 of my kids graduated from A&M. So Jordan actually played at A&M. I would hate to guess what that number is. It's really, really high. So yeah, the Traylors and A&M, we go back for a long, long time. So much respect for that place. Just taking all 3 kids to orientation. Never waited in one line. Everybody's as nice as can possibly be. You see what the big deal is about Texas A&M, and much respect for that place.
Yeah, and just one more about Houston. You mentioned how he had earned one of those single-digit numbers. Just what's that say maybe about the way he's come on as a leader in your program over these last couple of years in particular?
Yeah, I'm so thrilled for him. His grandmother and one of my best friends at Gilmer's mother were the best of friends. So I had an insight to a relationship to get Houston, and I know his grandmother has put tremendous pressure on me to make sure Houston's going to be just all right. So we've tried to do our best to take care of her wishes and Houston. And man, he's developed off the field and on the field, and excited for him and the success he's had for us.
Steve.
Coach, after a season that had over 1,000 penalty yards and then playing in an environment like this at Kyle Field, what are some of the things that you've kind of instilled in the team to limit pre-snap penalties and just unnecessary flags here in this environment?
Yeah, that really hurt us last year. To be very honest with you, we were extremely undisciplined last year. We've started on that since the beginning, and we've worked our tails off at that. Um, I do think it's going to be still hard when you're on the road in front of that many people, but we've worked harder than we ever have at just eliminating pre-snap and post-snap, and it's not like something that was ignored for whatever reason. We just got sloppy, and we've tried to really button up, and our players have really bought into that, and hopefully you'll see some improvement there Saturday.
And then also, does the depth that you return both at running back and tight end, does that kind of make you feel more comfortable with a lot of different personnel groupings coming out of the gate this year?
Well, we've always used our tight ends a lot here, so we've always tried to do that. Uh, we don't prepare for many teams on our schedule that are this deep, this well coached, this talented. So that brings another problem in it. But yes, we will try to give different presentations of our offense because our personnel can do so many things that are so multiple.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Travis?
Hi, Jeff. What has Tommy Robinson brought to the program, and what does it usually mean as a coach to be able to go back to a place that you've coached at before?
Yeah, I mean, T. Rob's a veteran. He's been doing this forever. He had a good run there at A&M, and wife still lives there, so it's home for Tommy. And he's just when I interviewed Tommy, which I didn't need to interview him, I worked with him at the University of Texas, so it really wasn't like a real interview. But what was impressive is he talked about, he's been the best man in so many of his weddings. He's been of his players' weddings. He's been in so many of his players' weddings, and he's also coached quite a few Hall of Famers. And he never mentioned coaching a Hall of Famer once, but he did rave about how many weddings he's been in. I thought that was pretty cool, just about how much T-Rob loves his guys and how much he loves A&M. And he had a good run there, and I know he's excited to go back.
Greg?
Jeff, you talked about some of your connections to A&M with your family and your kids going there and all those sort of things. Obviously, when that head coaching job there was open a couple years ago, your name was rumored and mentioned in that. Do you reflect on that process and that time at all when you see that name pop up on the schedule this week?
No, sir.
Any other questions for Coach Traylor this morning? All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all. God bless. Birds up.